It's going to be a video on how to change the cup on the bevmax 4. I've got my new cup right here. First thing I do is I just push that thing over to there so that I have room to work. Then I take out the screws in the cover, except for the top one because it's made to be like you can hang it on there. So you take it all off and set it aside. Now that the cover is off, the belts and everything are exposed, and so you just want to be really careful not to try not to move this cup up or down or anything like that. We do have to move it up a little tiny bit in order to get to that screw down there. So that's the only movement I'm going to do. You can really screw up the wires inside this chain harness pretty bad, and if you're messing around with it, making it go up and down. And never turn the machine on and try to vend something without that cover back on here, because if you do that, you'll strip all kinds of wires and whatnot. That cover keeps the belt and these wires separate in different channels, and this will just catch on all kinds of stuff, and you'll definitely ruin your main chain harness if you forget to put that cover back on. So the next thing I'm going to do now that I've got that up is I'm just going to take out these screws right there and right there out of the cup, take the cup off, and I'm going to put the other one on. So the bottom right screw has to come all the way out. The others, you can see, are made to be, you just have to loosen them, and then because you can see that area for the screw to go in, so you can just loosen them and then lift it and they come out. So it's hard to do one-handed, but I'll get all these out. Alright, then you can just rest it down on the bottom, and then this plug right here, and release these. This just comes out. Now the cup's out. Next thing I'm going to do is just take those screws all the way out because I need them for the next cup. The next cup doesn't come with these, so you're going to reuse them. Get this one out here. Okay. So now all 4 of my screws are out. This cup is done. I'm gonna just steal this off of it, this clip, put it on the next cup. 1 second while I unwrap this. Okay, always the first step on a new cup is remove this tape. If you don't, it won't work. Okay, so now that switch is exposed. So now, except for the bottom right screw, I'll put the other 3 screws back in. Bottom right has to go in after the cup's installed. I'm just going to put these in finger tight at first. Then I'll put them in a little more so they're not just loose sitting there. Okay, I'm going to leave that one out. I'm going to put this back in its little harness where it's supposed to be. Sometimes these don't come installed. Okay, got that back in its little clip. Now, the bottom screw there, I just get it in its little hole. So it's just sitting there. It's gonna hold the cup. The cup can just chill out right here while I connect these 2 back together. Okay, so now that's connected again, and these other screws are in place, ready to go into these little slots again, where get it in there. Come on, guy. You don't want to go in there. Oh, the plug is turned sideways. If it turns like that, it'll block it, so it needs to lay flat. Or prep it in a way where it'll lay flat. There we go. So now, let's see, so that plug was the other way, and it was making it so this couldn't go in the, so yeah. And then you always want to make sure that these wires coming off the main chain harness aren't going to get cut against this sharp metal right here. So we're going to reroute those. Oh geez, that's not supposed to be broken. So you want to make sure those wires aren't going up over this. This metal's pretty sharp, and it will cut into those wires. So the wires go up in a plastic hole right there that's a lot easier for them to rub against than that sharp metal. So now in order to get that bottom screw back in, the cup fell back down, so I'm just going to barely lift it up like an inch. I'm going to line those holes up, and I'm going to get that screw in and screw it all the way in. Okay, so I got that bottom screw all the way in. Now I'm just screwing the rest of these guys in. Done this so many times, these screws are stripping now. Crazy how many cups we go through. Okay, I'll put that back in its place, make sure those wires are safe right there. Then I'm going to put this clip back on, this cup, there we go. Now the most important part is putting that cover back on. So the cover can hang on the very top screw. So that's the first thing. Just get that screw. It's hard to do one-handed.
You need help there, sir?
No, I'm look like I need help. Now you gotta look in here. There's different channels for the belt to go in versus the wire harness. You just want to make sure that the belt is separated from the wire harness. So the belt has its own little home in there, and there's a piece of metal that separates that belt from the wire harness all the way down. And when you know you've got it in the right place, just put all those screws back in. Oh yeah, last thing to check is this wire harness back here is poking out, and it's got its own home that it's got to go in. So see, that would have been a disaster if I didn't see that. You always got to check for that one too. So you want to check that your belt's in over there and your wire harness is in over here, because it'll catch on these things and just tear apart. Okay, I'm just gonna get these back on. One-handed job here. And there we go. So the only other thing I'm gonna do now is turn it back on. And then when we shut the door, it should, nothing's in the way. It should home. Gonna home. Go at home, and this went into sales mode. So now I'm just gonna hit test. Bend is 9. I hit that button twice and then hit 9. And I'm just gonna test knot cans in case they fall. Oops. 9 star A2 star. Shut the door, and let's see, A2 test. It's pretty good sounding. Going back home. Put that back in. And that's all there is.